Hello, everyone. I'm Mr. Macabre, and welcome back to my movie library. It's time for another edition of What You Watching. Over the last week, I had a few days of PTO from my work, so I had a day to catch up on some movie watching and took a few off my DVD pile. And I did one Blu-ray, and we'll go ahead and we'll get started. Here we go. So the first thing that I watched this pretty much. I showed this off in a previous video, but as soon as I got it, I watched it and I enjoyed every minute of it. It was really good, really disturbing and unsettling in a good way. We have the Creep tapes. I love the Creep movies, 1 and 2. Mark Duplass really kills it. Like, this guy is so unsettling. Like, he does such a great job. It's like, not only is he starring these, he co-writes them. Just man, this is such a great show. Loved every minute of it. Hopefully we're going to get season 2. I hope, I pray. But, just definitely. I like that they did change some of the episodes up just a little bit. I do like that they do try to go a little bit more into his, kind of like into his psyche and kind of show like, a little bit of like the madness that this guy is consumed with, but also too, show that show kind of like kind of like his background, where he came from, kind of give a little bit more insight into why he is the way he is. But really, really good. I know for some people, at first when I was watching some of the episodes, I thought, I think some people are going to feel like these episodes just kind of become redundant after a while, but then it'll veer off, and then you get like the one episode here in the motel, when he's waiting for a potential victim to show up, and you see him kind of like, the madness that this guy is dealing with, so I like that they did, change it up a little bit, but yeah, really enjoyed this. I really hope we can get a second season of this. If not, hey, still quality while it lasted. So hopefully still. But yeah, the Creep Tape season 1, I definitely recommend it. Okay, now the rest of these are all DVDs, and we'll start with this one. We have Michael Madsen in UKM, Ultimate Killing Machine. From Cutting Edge Films. This movie really wasn't too bad. The only problem is, though, is like watching this movie, I keep thinking like Michael Madsen, the entire time he was in this movie, you kind of get the feeling like he showed up for the paycheck, and you could tell he was probably just sitting there like, doing this movie and just kind of going through the motions and being like, please, Quentin, write me another, write a great movie for me to star in. Please give me another movie. I think this is 2006 when this came out, I believe. It's a Canadian production, but this was, I think, well, it says here Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, so it had to be between Kill Bill and Hateful Eight. So, but yeah, I imagine he was probably in this movie just waiting for Quentin to write him another movie to be in. But that's not a bad story, It's very, you've definitely seen movies like this before. It's not really treading any new ground. It's about this scientific research and everything else, and that they're injecting soldiers with this serum or whatever that turns them into fighting machines that they want to very strong, almost indestructible fighting machines that they can use for the military, for war and things like this. And they get 4 new recruits in, 2 boys, 2 girls, and they inject them. And then, like, this character here is one of the ones at the beginning of the movie becomes injected with the serum, and he breaks loose and is going through this facility, taking people out. And so, everybody's like trying to find a way out and trying to see if they could stop him and everything else. And Michael Madsen is kind of like the soldier who is, almost in a sense, if there was like a Captain Rhodes, from Day of the Dead, if there was like a Captain Rhodes in this movie, it would be Michael Madsen. His character is kind of morally ambiguous, but he's not like, it is interesting. He's not a flat out villain. He's not a flat out bad guy, but he's definitely not a heroic character either. So, but not a bad little flick. This definitely came out in a Blu-ray. I would, I'm going to keep my eyes open. If this comes out in a Blu-ray, or a 4K, most likely, I think something like this, best we can get is probably going to be Blu-ray. But yeah, but if this ever comes out in a Blu-ray, I'd be willing to upgrade. So, but not a bad little flick. I didn't mind it. So, UKM Ultimate Killing Machine. This one here, boy oh boy, this was bad. We have Tom Savini in Vicious. In nature, you're either the predator or the prey. This movie is atrocious. Tom Savini being in it really is the only good thing about it. His character is this soldier who is put into the woods with this animal. Again, we're dealing with like a government project here. And this general has put Tom Savini in charge of monitoring this creature that they're testing, because once again the army wants to use it as a weapon. You get maybe like about 7 minutes of Bill Moseley being in this movie. He does the best what he can with what little he's given, but he's only in the movie for just a few minutes. Tom Savini really is the standout of this movie. If there's one good element of this movie, Tom Savini is it. Because he's put out there with this creature, but then he goes rogue. Excuse me. He goes rogue, and then he decides that he's going to start like bringing luring campers and fishers and stuff into these woods, so this creature can feed off of them. The creature effects are absolutely disgustingly bad. It is so the visual effects in this are so cheap and so horrible to look at. It is some of the worst computerized effects you will ever see in your lifetime. I mean, we're talking Birdemic levels of bad. I'm not joking. We really are. Like I said, Tom Savini is the only good thing about this movie. He's great, plays a great villainous character. He's showing off some of his skills. Being cool Tom Savini, but even though he's the bad guy in the movie, but still, I mean, really, he literally is the only good thing about this movie. Without him, this movie would be an absolute dumpster fire. I'm not really sure if I'm going to keep this, to be honest with you. As much as I love Tom Savini, there is a commentary with him and the director. I might give that a whirl, and if maybe the commentary would be enough to keep it, and if not, I'm probably just going to, I'm sorry, but there's much better movies to watch Tom Savini in. So, but Vicious, yeah, I gave this a shot. This is not good. So anyway, another one that I wasn't particularly thrilled with was, I hope I can get it. We have Undead or Alive with Chris Kattan and James Denton, and this actress here. I gotta be honest, this movie really didn't do it for me. I mean, I will say, probably, I like James Denton's character. Chris Kattan is kind of like if there was like do you remember like when back in the days when Don Knotts did like comedy westerns for Disney, like Hot Lead and Cold Feet or The Shakiest Gun in the West? If there was like a Don Knotts character in this movie, Chris Kattan would definitely be it. James Denton plays a pretty cool character. I really liked the female lead in here. She's playing a Native American girl who is a descendant of Geronimo, and there is a curse that is bringing people back from the dead. One of the characters is Brian Posehn. He's a zombie pretty much throughout the whole movie. And I feel bad because I can't remember the actor's name, but he was a character actor. He was short. He had kind of like white hair. He was in numerous seasons of American Horror Story. He was the guy who, with the woman, they ran the restaurant in Jason Goes to Hell. He's in this movie. I always liked him, but I feel like crap because right now I can't remember his name. The problem is the printing's so small I can't read it. Overall, I just didn't really enjoy this movie. I didn't care for the ending. I'm sorry, I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. We good? Okay. So, yeah, spoiler alert. She dies at the end of the movie. Was not a fan of that. I really wasn't. I thought it was going to end a completely different way, but no. She ends up dying at the end of the movie, and honestly, I was not happy about that. So, I don't really, it's like a lot of, some of the jokes are okay in this movie, but a lot of the jokes don't really land. Like I said, Chris Kattan spends most of the movie as kind of like a whiny, crying, almost like I said, if there was almost like a Don Knotts character in this movie, Chris Kattan would be it. But yeah, I'm sorry, just this movie just didn't really do it for me. Just the ending kind of ruined it for me. Sorry, but yeah, so I don't really see myself keeping this one, to be honest with you. So sorry if anybody likes this movie. Sorry, I'm not trying to poo-poo on it for you. I just wasn't a fan of it. Sorry. Okay, this one here, this was mediocre, not great, not terrible, but just this movie was irritating. We have The Unbroken with Daniel Baldwin, Warwick Davis, and Verrill Jones. I will say one big problem is, okay, this is not really a new kind of story. I mean, we've seen this kind of story done dozens of times. The story is about this young woman. She's going through a divorce. She's moving to a new apartment complex. Upon arrival, she sees this kid in the road, and she thinks she hits the kid, but turns out, no, there's no kid there, but there is like a clown doll. So she takes the clown doll, and she's looking around. She's going around this apartment complex asking, neighbors, do they know if there's a kid around here, who the doll belongs to, and everything else. One thing I will say is, sorry again for more spoilers, but it's like pretty much the very minute that Daniel Baldwin's character is introduced into the movie, you already know that Daniel Baldwin's character murdered the kid. I mean, it's not very subtle at all. And then, this movie is infuriating. I do like when Warwick Davis shows up. He doesn't get much to do. At one point, she becomes desperate. She goes to, she's going to like a psychic, like a medium played by Warwick Davis, and she's trying to get information about ghosts and the supernatural and like how to do a cleansing, things like this and everything else. Warwick Davis does, very solid job with the material that he's given. He is very much the standout in this movie. Daniel Baldwin plays a good kind of creepy weirdo neighbor and stuff, but a lot of the characters are infuriating because the woman, along with this guy, she meets this guy who lives in the apartment complex, does like some maintenance and stuff. And this guy, spends most of the time, he's just trying to hit on her. He's just trying to get with her and everything. And, and it's like, even when she's seeing the ghost of this kid, they just keep, laughing it off. I mean, I understand, like in ghost stories at the beginning, the characters are going to be skeptical, because they've never seen this before. They're not going to be used to it. But it's like, my God, there comes a point, even in, most ghost stories, there comes a point where, they see enough to know it's like, okay, yeah, this is no longer a joke and everything. And it's like, it's almost like the entire movie, it's like, no matter what, it just seems like they just keep taking it as a joke and everything. It's like not taken seriously till like the very last 20 minutes of the movie, maybe. But yeah, just, this movie just didn't really do it for me. I mean, I've seen that's the problem. This movie is very formulaic. It's a very formulaic ghost story. Seen many, many others like it before. Movies done better, better storytelling. Like I said, Daniel Baldwin does great with the material he's given. Warwick Davis, if there was a scene stealer in this movie, is definitely Warwick Davis. He's the best part of this movie, I feel. But just, honestly, like with a movie like this, like I said, I've seen this kind of movie done before. I've seen it done way better. I don't know. It's not terrible, but it's not really breaking any new ground. I don't know. So, but anyway, so yeah, The Unbroken. There we go. This movie, I got maybe about 20 minutes into it and I couldn't handle anymore, to be honest with you. This is Virus X. Definitely an infected people, zombie kind of movie and all that kind of stuff. I couldn't get through this. I really couldn't. It's just, there is so much shaky cam, so many shots out of focus, everything else. Like, this movie was just, it was almost giving me motion sickness. It's like every camera is that jerky every shot is that jerky handheld camera thing, lots of shots out of focus, everything else, all this kind of stuff. And I couldn't get into it. This movie just couldn't draw me in. I'm sorry. If anybody likes this movie, I'm not trying to ruin it for you, but just, my God, yeah, I couldn't do it. About 20 minutes, I was like, no. Okay, an infected people kind of slash zombie like movie. I get that, but just like no, just the very cheapness of it, the very cheapness. The practical effects look good, but just the cheap overall look of it and just the way it was shot and everything else. I can't do this. So yeah, so sorry, but Virus X couldn't do it. Another one I definitely could not do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is going to be mostly like negative. I hate to say that, but this is another one I could not do. I am not a fan of these, style over substance kind of movies with really no story, no plot. I tried watching this movie. I just couldn't get into it. And that is Where the Dogs Divide Her. It's just like, this just feels like one of those, I hate to say it, but it's like last week my brother and I, we watched Begotten on YouTube. It's like, my God, it's one of these. This is basically about the same thing. It's very like artsy fartsy, kind of like, it feels like I hate to say it, but it does. It feels like a film school project done by like a very pretentious film school student. It just feels very very just hoity-toity and just kind of, like I said, style over substance, like just really no story to it. Just no. Sorry, I'm just not really a fan of those kind of movies. Sorry, I can't do it. So. Again, another one I can't do. I know that horror movie fans are really going to be like, dude, you need to revoke your horror movie card. You need to check your ass out the door, But I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not really a fan of full moon pictures. Okay, I like several of the movies that mostly the stuff that Stuart Gordon had done. I like Pit and the Pendulum. I like Dolls, Castle Freak. I like some of the stuff that Stuart Gordon has done. But honestly, I am not a fan of full moon pictures. I'm not a fan of Puppet Master. I'm not a fan of Evil Bong. I'm not a fan of Ginger Dead Man. I mean, I have really tried to give those movies a chance, and I just cannot get into those movies. They just don't do it for me, and neither did this one, and that is Trophy Heads. I really wanted to like this movie because you got Linnea Quigley in it, you got Brinke Stevens, you got, who else is in here? I think Michelle Bauer's in this, Jacqueline Lavelle. Robin Sidney is in this. You get like a almost blink and you miss it cameo from Stuart Gordon. Just no, I just can't do these full moon pictures. I understand, they have a big fan base. A lot of people love that stuff. I just cannot get into the full moon movies. Like I said, the only ones I can take are about the ones that Stuart Gordon did. I'm not a fan of Seed People or Trancers or any of that kind of stuff. I swear, I really did give them the honest God chance. I really didn't just, I didn't just watch like one and decide I hate them all. It's like, no, I've watched plenty of them over the years. I'm just not big on the full moon movies. I'm sorry. I mean, no disrespect to fans that are into the full moon pictures lineup. I'm just not one of them. I'm sorry. I'm the same way with a lot of trauma movies as well. But, yeah, I'm sorry. I gave Trophy Heads a chance. I really wanted to like it. I'm sorry, no. Oh, another one. Again, sorry, I know I'm being very negative this time around, but this one here, Sacrament. Okay, Welcome to Hell. This is very much, it's very cheap looking. You can tell it's very shot on, cheap digital cameras and stuff like that. It's basically a kind of a cross between, I don't know, maybe something like a cross between like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And the reason why I say that is because Marilyn Burns has a role in this movie. And I feel so bad that, an actress like Marilyn Burns really should have broken out bigger. When you see the work that she has done in the early years, you've seen her in, again, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Eaten Alive, Helter Skelter. She deserved better. She honestly did. And to put her in something like this just feels like, I'm sure that the people who made the movie put her in the movie because, they like her as an actor and stuff, and they respected her. But just, my God, you couldn't have given her better material to work with, for fuck's sake. Pardon my language, But, you got these kids, a couple of them, Yeah, a couple of them are gay and stuff. I think one's a lesbian, but anyway, so they go into this town. Turns out, it's cliche. We've seen it so many times. They go into this town. Turns out everybody in this town are a bunch of, overzealous religious fanatics and stuff like that. And they're getting ready to do a sacrifice. And, these kids came at just the right time. So they want to start killing these kids and sacrificing them, to cleanse their souls and all. We've seen this done. Hell, Kevin Smith did it with Red State. And we've seen these kind of movies before. So, I mean, it's nothing new. It's just very mediocre, very bland, very cheap looking, and stuff. So, hang on. I think I got a fly on my camera. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, yeah, just very, very cheap looking, very mediocre. And just like I said, we've seen this kind of stuff done many, many times. We've seen it done better, stuff like that, done better in 70s movies and whatnot. So yeah, this one I don't really give any high marks on. Like I said, the only reason to even look at it is because, you get a short role by Marilyn Burns in it. And that's about it. This one here, The Sandman. I could not watch this movie because the DVD didn't want to work. So I was actually interested in this one. Haley Duff, not so much her, but Tobin Bell, definitely. John Kramer, oh hell yeah, I want to see it from. Executive produced by Stan Lee. Don't fall asleep. But alas, unfortunately, maybe if I could find a better copy of this, I'll watch it at some point. But yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't do it. DVD did not want to play, so I didn't get to watch Sandman. This one here. This one actually wasn't too bad. I know, surprise. Actually, decent. This one here, The Sacred. This was a pretty good movie about a bunch of archaeology students. They're going to this kind of like cabin in a swamp or like by a lake or something, and they're there to do some research on this area that makes. The deal is like people go into this area and then they're kind of like plagued by apparitions, and they see things like. If they have dark, horrible secrets in their past, that gets revealed to them, and it makes them either kill each other or kill themselves. Yeah, actually, it was a pretty decent movie. I didn't mind this one. So, pretty good. This one I could actually see myself keeping this one. This one here, oh my gosh. Hey, Glenn from BDG Reviews. Glenn and Jason from Horrific Nightmares. If you guys watch this, and maybe even Rob from VHS82 if you guys are watching this, I know you guys love your downer ending movies. I know you guys love your very bleak and dark and just mean-spirited kind of movies. I got a good one for you, if you haven't seen this one already. The Piper. I saw this movie. Holy God, this movie is so bleak. It is such a downer. The ending will have your jaw drop. This is just such a mean-spirited movie. Oh my God. This is kind of a different take on the story of the Pied Piper of Hamelin. As you can tell, you got the guy there. He's got the rats. He's got, the pipe there, the flute, just holy cow. This movie is so dark. It is so bleak. It is good for what it is. It's a very well-made film, but my God. Yeah, you got to be in a mood to kind of watch this movie. This here, though, is like, I would actually I'm hoping at some point, maybe somebody could get a hold of this and put out a Blu-ray of it. And instead of the crappy dub that's on this DVD, I'm hoping we can get, like a track with the language with subtitles. That was the only thing that really took me out of it, but still, a very well-made movie. Oh my gosh. You're in the mood for a very mean-spirited downer ending of a movie? Check this one out. The Piper, oh hell yeah, this one is dark, I tell you. This one here, oh my God, this was a turd. I'm sorry. The reason I got this is because of Jamie Presley. Jamie Presley is easily one of the most beautiful women in the whole world. She is just amazingly gorgeous, one of the most beautiful women. But also, too, Jamie Presley is genuinely a good actress. She is a good actress. She's great in comedy. If you ever watch her on My Name is Earl, she is fantastic on that show. I've seen her in a lot of movies where she's done really great character roles and stuff like that. Unfortunately, even she could not save this turd. This is Pinata Survival Island. like, as much as I love and respect her as an actress and as beautiful and gorgeous as she is, even she can't save this turd of a movie. This movie is so freaking bad. It's about these contestants. They go to this island to do like a kind of like a reality game show kind of a thing. And then this kind of like a tiki statue or whatever it is comes to life. And again, like, what was that one I was like? Oh, Vicious. You see some of the most horribly bad, like you could tell, like somebody did this on their home computer digital effects you've ever seen. My God, it is atrocious. It is so bad. It is completely unbelievable. You know, it's like, again, it's like, you know, for a second there, I thought maybe I would keep it just because it's a Jamie Presley movie, but it's like bullshit. I got better movies. I got better shows with her in it. So I was like, I got definitely better quality stuff with her in it. So yeah, I'm not keeping this one. You know, I can already tell, I'm never going to watch this again. The effects, everything. No. Sorry. But no. Down to our last two, folks. This one here actually was pretty good. I actually like this one. And that is Billy Piper in Spirit Trap. Thought it was kind of a good, interesting take on like a haunted house movie, kind of a ghost story. Of course, you know, the delicious, scrumptious Billy Piper definitely helps. But yeah, it's about these people. They go into this house. One of these guys like tries to get this clock working, and it turns out that this clock is actually a spirit trap. And you know, horrible things start happening. People are getting picked off one by one. But then you come to find out that, you know, the only way to stop it is that somebody has to be sacrificed, a life for a life to be sacrificed, and has to stay in this house for all of eternity. So, yeah, a good movie. I actually liked it. I thought it was a pretty interesting take. So this one I will be keeping. You know, yeah, a good little flick. So last we have, this one was better than I thought it was going to be, but here we go. We have Widow's Peak or Widow's Point with Craig Sheffer. I always liked Craig Sheffer as an actor. It always bugged me that he never broke out bigger. You know, especially like after Nightbreed. He was so good in Nightbreed. Great ghost story. Just the worst part is at the end, you basically get this kind of like Cthulhu-like monster. Again, just horrible digital effects. That being said, I will keep this movie because Craig Sheffer does a great job. The acting is good. The story is a good one. You know, he plays this author. We've seen this kind of story done before too. He goes to this lighthouse where this house is attached to it because there's, you know, this ghost story surrounding it and everything. And so he, you know, goes there. He wants to write a book, and you know, he goes there, and you know, of course, ghosts start appearing, spooky stuff starts happening, and he starts lapsing into madness, and eventually it overtakes him. So. But yeah, I enjoyed this movie overall. Thought it was really good. Just like I said, just at the very end, the CGI is crap. But overall, still a good movie. I'll keep it regardless. So, you know, yeah, definitely good if you like a good ghost story. So, anyway. So, yeah, so that's the whole stack of everything I've been watching. So, if any of you took the time to watch this video, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, would you please leave it a like? If you would, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And that's it. Take care, everybody. Until next time,